Joe Biden's oath will be a message of healing for a deeply divided nation. And it will be a message of hope for a world that is waiting for the US to be back in the circle of like-minded states. This time-honored ceremony on the steps of the US Capitol will be a demonstration of the resilience of American democracy and the resounding proof that, once again, after 4 long years, Europe has a friend in the White House. And he will be standing next to Kamala Harris, the first woman to be vice president of the United States. This is a historical achievement, and this also makes this day very special. This new dawn in America is the moment we've been waiting for so long. Europe is ready for a new start with our oldest and most trusted partner. And this is why the Commission recently has adopted a new forward-looking transatlantic agenda. And it focuses on where we can together join forces to push for global change based on our common values, interests, and global influence. From climate change to health, from digitalization to democracy, these are global challenges that need renewed and improved global cooperation. And the European Union and the United States must lead from the front and bring an alliance of like-minded partners with us. There is, of course, no greater need for global cooperation in the short term than in tackling the pandemic, which has been so devastating on both sides of the Atlantic. As you know, the European Union has been leading the global response since day one, and it was so encouraging that so many US organizations and foundations have helped build and design the COVAX facility, our global alliance to bring vaccine to the low and middle income countries. Now I am looking forward that the US government will join our common effort. This will be a strong message. And beyond this, we will propose to the United States to step up our work on health prevention, preparedness and response at the G20 Health Summit in Rome in May. And I'm delighted that on day one, as they announced, the new American administration, the United States, will rejoin the Paris Agreement. This will be a very strong starting point for our renewed cooperation. And of course, way more is to come. We want to deepen our partnership on emission trading and carbon pricing. We want to join forces with the United States to fight the loss of biodiversity and the destruction of nature. We want to develop the technologies that will drive us to climate neutrality. It is with this new green tech alliance that we will look forward at everything from offshore to climate change, from hydrogen that is clean to sustainable batteries and to circular economies that we have to build up to fight this climate change. We will be ready to engage from day one on. Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren Abgeordnete,
honourable members, this sense of relief that we and many others are experiencing now should not lead us to making any illusions. Trump may be consigned to history in a few hours, but his followers remain. Millions of American citizens voted for President Trump in the US election, and just a few days ago, many of them stormed the Capitol. We were all shocked by the images we saw on television, and this really is what it looks like when words are put into deeds, when hate speech and fake news become a real danger to democracy. The images that we saw coming from the United States should serve as a warning that we must heed. Despite established democracy being embedded here. We cannot assume that we are immune to these phenomena, and they have been with us for a long time. Some time ago, far-right activists were seeking to storm the Reichstag in Berlin, and it was only because of concerted police operations that this was prevented. We all remember Joe Cox, the UK Labour MP who, in those heated days in the run-up to the referendum, was murdered by a far-right extremist, something that still leaves us speechless to this day. Now, we know that there are extremists involved in this storming of the Capitol, but we know that there are many people who are frustrated, who are angry in our societies, who see the ideas reflected in strange and confused ideologies and ideas that they are reading on the internet, and they are spreading these ideas. Honourable members, of course, we must be able to listen to the fears and concerns of ordinary citizens. These fears are perfectly justified in this time of pandemic. And we must do this, and will do this, with the multi-billion Next Generation EU recovery plan. At the end of the day, we must accept that it may not be possible for us to completely eliminate any of these dark forces from our societies. One thing that we must, however, do as politicians is this. We must ensure that these messages of hatred and fake news cannot circulate without obstacles. This political power, unbridled power, held by the big internet giants must be reined in. In a world of polarization and the one with the strongest voice having the last word is something that we cannot tolerate and can lead to people losing their lives, as the police officers in the Capitol did. Now, let's be very clear. We in Europe want innovation. We appreciate new technology and are open to new ideas. Without new ideas, without new technology and progress, we cannot look to tomorrow, and we won't be able to retain everything that is dear to us and dear to our hearts. But new technologies cannot lead us to a place where others determine and decide how we live our lives. And as you will know, the Commission put forward a Digital Services Act, a Digital Market Act, in December. To put this in simple terms, we want to ban in the online world everything that is already illegal in the physical world. We want there to be transparency behind the algorithms that are used online. It's simply not acceptable that things that have an impact and influence democratic processes are determined by algorithms that no man can understand or see. And we want these big internet giants to take responsibility for their actions. This is very close to my heart. It's significant that Donald Trump's account was suspended 5 minutes after the drastic, devastating events. That is significant. But the kind of decision of this kind must be taken in accordance with laws and rules that are laid down, not by an arbitrary decision in the power of a Silicon Valley CEO. Honourable members, when it comes to digital technology, we have a great deal to offer the new administration in Washington here in Europe. When it comes to our regulations, we hope to set global standards in this field. And as a first step, what I can imagine is a common technology council being set up. And together we can put together a rule book that will be valid globally, going all the way from privacy rules to security of critical digital infrastructure. Now, this architecture will be based on human rights, inclusion, and the principle of protecting privacy.
This day brings good news. The United States are back, and Europe stands ready to reconnect with an old and trusted partner to breathe new life in our cherished alliance. Thank you.
Grazie.